Hello everyone. Today we'll be solving little girl and maximum XOR. So this was asked in the Codeforces round 169 division 2, right? So what the question states here, you can just go through the question. It is very easy to understand. I'll just summarize the question so that it will be easier for us to solve the problem, right? So just give me a second here. 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, here what the question states here, we are given two integers. We are given two integers. One is L and another one is R, right? So we are given two integers. One is L and another one is R. What we need to do, we have to find the maximum XOR value of any two integers. That is A and B. A and B. We have to find the maximum XOR value of any two integers. Very easy question, right? So this was the last problem in the bit manipulation topic basically, so that is the reason I have opted the simple one. So here we have to find the maximum XOR value of any two integers, that is A and B. We have to find the this one, what do we call, maximum XOR value of any two values, any two integers, that is nothing but A and B respectively. A and B respectively, right? So we need to find the largest possible result of A XOR B. We need to find the largest result value of A XOR B. Again I'm telling, we need to find the largest possible result of A XOR B in the inclusive range, in the inclusive range, right? So I hope the question is completely clear. All we have to do is we have to find the maximum XOR value of any two integers A and B, where this one, L is less than or equal to A, B is greater than or equal to A, and B is less than or equal to R, right? So you can just look into the constraints basically, right? So you can just look into the constraints basically. So here we need to find the largest possible result of A XOR B. So finally what we need to return, we need to find the largest possible result of, first we need to find the maximum XOR value of any two integers A and B. So um, that is fine. So finally what we need to return, we need to find the largest possible result of A XOR B in the inclusive range, in the inclusive range, right? So this is very important, inclusive range in the sense this one, inclusive range in the sense this one, right? So I hope the question part is completely clear, man. I hope the question part is completely clear. Let's come to the input output part here. So we have here 1, 2. 1 is nothing but the L, uh, 2 is nothing but the R, right? So first we need to find the maximum XOR value of all the integers A and B accordingly with this constraint, and then we have to return the largest possible result of A XOR B. Nothing but in this case, when we do it, we get the output 3, right? So I hope input output part is completely clear. Approach part, we'll be discussing that one very soon. So just this is just the input output part I wanted to discuss, right? So here 8 and 16, L and R, we have 8 and 16. The output that we need to get here is 30. Same goes with 1 and 1 here, the third input. The output that we need to get here is 0, right? I hope the input output part and the question part is completely clear. Now as we are familiar with the question, let's do one thing. Let's discuss the approach first, followed by the complexities, and then let's write the code. Initially, as usual, let's discuss the approach first. Here I have considered the first example, the same example that they have given in the uh, question, first example, right? This is L and this is nothing but R, and the output that we need to get here is 3. So one thing we need to notice here is we will be going with a bitwise XOR trick, or bitwise XOR basically. So we will be going with a bitwise XOR approach, or bitwise XOR trick basically. Just keep this in mind, right? So let's move on with the step-by-step explanation here. We have L equals 1, R equals 2. So this is what we have considered, right? L equals 1, R equals 2. So in binary, if we consider, if we convert this one and 2 to binary, we have 0, 1 and 1, 0, right? So now what we will do L XOR R, L XOR R, nothing but 0, 1, 0, 1. This is binary form, right? 0, 1, 1, 0. So here XOR table we know, XOR to the table we know. So 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. So XOR here, either A has to be 1 or B has to be 1. Then only the result will be 1. Here A is 1, result is 1. Here B is 1, result is 1. If both A and B are 0, then it is 0. If both A and B are 1, then also it is 0, right? So either of the A or B has to be 1 if the result we need is 1, right? So here in this case, we have 0, 1 first, 0, 1 and 1, 0. So this will be 1, 1. When we convert this one to the number, it will be 3. It will be 3, right? So we have got the output 3, right? So from this, whatever the output that we got here, from this ln2, whatever the output that we got here, from this XOR result, we will find the MSB. MSB means most significant bit. Most significant bit where L and R differ. Where L and R differ. That's what we will be doing, right? So just keep this in mind. Next step, let's move on with the next step. All the bits from that position downward can be toggled to get the maximum XOR. This is just the theory part. You can just ignore this one. Or so basically whatever the bits, all the bits will be considering, right? So here we have only one and two. All the bits from the position downward can be toggled to get the maximum XOR. Just keep this in mind, right? So if the highest differing bit is at the second place, if highest differing bit is at the second place, 1 and 2 we have. If the highest differing bit is at the second place, maximum XOR we can go with 2 to the 2 XOR k minus 1. 2 XOR k minus 1. We are considering highest differing bit at this one, position 2. Position 2. K here we have 2 as well. So 2 XOR k nothing but 2 minus 1 will be going with. Will be going with 2 XOR 2 minus 1. So 2 XOR 2 will be 4. You can just convert that one to the binary and check in the same way for what we did for this one by considering L and R, 1 and 2, right? So pure XOR. So we are just going with a pure bitwise XOR here. We are performing the XOR. So basically 2 XOR 2 will be 4. 4 minus 1 we will get the answer 3. We'll get the answer 3, right? So here the solution that we got here is 3. Before going to the output part, so basically what we are trying to generalize here is the answer is always of the form 2 XOR k minus 1. The answer is always of the form 2 XOR k minus 1. So here I have considered directly 2. So if the highest differing bit is at the second place, I have considered this one second place directly. You would have got confused, right? So here accordingly with the question I'm telling. So basically the answer is always of the form 2 to the power of k minus 1. Sorry, 2 XOR k minus 1. 2 XOR k minus 1, right? So where k is nothing but the position of the highest differing bit between L and R. The position of the highest differing bit between L and R. So we have 1 and 2. We have considered k as 2. 2 as the highest differing bit, right? So we have considered 2 as the highest differing bit between this one 1 and 2, right? So that is the reason we have went with 2 XOR 2 minus 1 here. 4 minus 1 we have got 3 here, right? So here the output that we got here is 3. 4 minus 1 final output that we got here is 3, right? So the output that we have got here is 3, which is equivalent to the output that they have given for the example 1, which is equivalent to the output that they have given for the example 1 within the question. Just give me a second here. This one I'm speaking of 3, right? So the output that we have got here is 3, which is equivalent to the output that they have given for the example 1 within the question. So our approach works absolutely correct. As we are completely familiar with the approach, let's move on with the complexities part. So what is time complexity? Yeah, so what will be the time complexity basically here? The time complexity would be because of logarithmic r. Logarithmic r, right? So here, so why it is log r? It should be big. It should have been big of r, right? Instead, we are going with a big of log r. Why we have considered r here? Because we will be looping for the number of bits in r. We will be looping for the number of bits in r. Nothing but maximum will be going with a 64 times. Maximum we will be going with the 64 times. Again, I'm telling we will be looping for the number of bits in r. We will be looping, or we only loop for the number of bits in R. We only loop for the number of bits in R, maximum 64 bits. So maximum 64 times here. So overall time complexity would be big O of logarithmic R. Don't get confused here, big of logarithmic R here. So this is fine. So what will be the space complexity? Space complexity is big of 1 because we'll be making use of the constant number of variables, and we will not be making use of any extra memory, right? So we'll just be making use of constant memory of constant number of variables. So the time complexity and the space complexity for the code that we'll be writing in the future would be big of logarithmic r and big of 1 respectively. Big of logarithmic r and big of n respectively. So here this would be big of logarithmic r and big of 1 respectively, right? So now we are completely, as we are completely familiar with the complexities part and the approach part, we are good to write the code. Let's start writing the code. So let's start writing the code. So I'll just come to the compiler here. So let me do one thing. We'll be making use of the different utilities, right? So I'll just import the utility package here. So I'll just go with java.util.star. So this is fine. Let me go with class name main here. Public, sorry, semicolon. This is fine. I'll just go with the name main. So I can just go with any name that is relevant to the question. I'll just go with main instead, right? So I'll just go with we have to go with public static void main, right? So this is fine. Let me remove this one entirely. So here within the class main, what I'll be doing, we'll be making use of the scanner. For this particular problem, we don't have to go with the buffered reader and print writer. So I'll just go with the scanner, right? So I'll just take the variable sc here, new. So this one will be scanner. So this one will be system.in. So this is fine. The next step is just go with L and let me assign this one to sc dot next int next long, sorry. So this one will be sc dot next long. This is fine. And also let me go with R and assign this one to the sc dot next long, right? So next long, this is fine. Next step is what we did here is basically scanner is nothing but we are taking input from the user. That is the reason we'll be taking input from the user, right? So I'll be giving input here basically. So that is the reason I'm making use of scanner here. Long and longer, this one L and R variables. L is nothing but the we have to read the left boundary of the range and also we have to read the right boundary of the range. That is the reason I've considered L and R here. So now accordingly with the approach, we have to perform XOR. We have to perform XOR, the first step, right? So XOR basically what it does is it helps identify the different bits between L and R. It helps identifying different, I mean differing bits, sorry, not the different bits, differing bits between L and R, right? So I can just write here on this way. Just give me a second here. Long. So this one will be XOR equals L XOR R. That is the thing that we did in the first step, right? So now we have to track the highest bit position where L and R differ, right? So next step in the approach. So let's articulate the same thing in the form of code, whatever we discussed in the approach. So this will be highest bit. Let me assign this one to 1 initially, right? So now let's come to the main part. I'll be going with a while loop because XOR has to be always greater than 0. Means we have to loop until XOR becomes 0. So that is the reason I'll be considering while here. While XOR greater than 0. So within the while loop, what we have to do? We have to shift the bit to left. We have to shift the bit to left. Nothing but we need to multiply by 2. So I'll just go with highest bit. So left shift 1. So this is fine. Then I'll be making use of the right shift XOR, nothing but here XOR. So this one will be 1. This one will be 1. Right. So here the final step is we have to subtract 1 to get max XOR. So we have to subtract 1 to get the max XOR. So we went with 2 XOR k minus 1. 2 XOR k minus 1. I considered 2 XOR k nothing but 2 because the highest significant this one highest bit differing bit was 2 in our case because we had L and R 1 and 2 right in the input. So we will be going with the 2 to the power of k minus 1 means we are subtracting 1 to get the maximum XOR here. So this is nothing but in the form of code or while we articulate in the form of code we can just write highest bit minus 1. So we have to print the output as well, right? So I'll just go with here println. So nothing but system out println here. So this is highest bit minus 1. Highest bit minus 1. So this is it for the code. Before checking the code with the different inputs, I just want to paste the signature starter template. Just give me a second here. So here, just let's concentrate on the logical part mainly. I'll just come here. So let me copy this one. The output that we need to get here is for this input is 3. So let me paste this one. So yeah, we have got the output 3. So the next thing here would be 8 and 16. The output that we need to get here is 31. Let's see. the output that we got here is 31, right? So the final step, I mean, final input or the final example we have here is 1 1. For this one, we have to get the output 0. Let's check the same thing here. So let me do one thing. Let me remove this one. Yeah. So yeah, we are getting the output 0, right? So the code works absolutely correct for all the inputs that they have given within the question, right? So let me copy this one entirely. So let me come here. Let me click on submit code. So this is D, right? So let me opt D here and let me paste the code over here and hit the submit button. I hope this works for all the test cases, man. Let's see. Let's wait for some time. Here you can clearly see running on test one, right? Let's wait for some time. So here you can clearly see in the toast it is showing accepted, and also the verdict that we got here is accepted, right? So whatever the code that we have written works good for all the test cases, works completely fine for all the test cases, right? I hope the solution part is completely clear along with the approach and the complexities. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.